Hi, I'm Monika Stout with YummyArts, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a cute little black cat cake. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some embellishments for the side of the cake. I've got a cake that is covered in white fondant, and I want to do these fun little scrolls to go on the outside of the cake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white fondant and I'm going to make sure it's nice and flexible, like this. Get it all nice and kneaded well. And then I'm going to take my extruder. I have this Makin's, it's a clay extruder, but I use it with my fondant. I've never used it with clay. You always want to buy, if you buy something that is not specifically made for cake, you want to make sure you only ever use it for cake. So this is my extruder, and I'm using a pretty large circular die. And you pop it in the bottom, right there, and then you screw this on. Oh, sorry. Let's try that again. You screw that on, and then you're going to take your fondant and you're going to roll it so that it fits inside like this. And I'm going to just drop it in. Oop, not quite thin enough. So I'm rolling it a little bit more, and then I'm just dropping it in. I'm pounding it down to get as much in there as I can. There you go. And now this has to be all the way at the top. So I'm just going to roll that down like that, and then I'm going to put that in. Got to go a little bit farther. Put that in and push it in and screw it down like this. Like that. And the reason I love this extruder is because there are some that pump like this, and every time you pump, it stops here and gives a little indent every time you stop pumping. This is a nice steady turn, so you don't get any indents. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to start extruding like this. And I like working on these boards that have measurements on them, because then I don't have to have a ruler out and measure. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude a certain section of this out. That'll be about enough. And I'm going to take a knife and cut it. And now I'm going to measure. That's why I have this board here, so it's perfect. So these were 4 inches. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it, each one into 4 inches, 4-inch strips. I'll do a couple of these. So this one actually just happens to be 3. So I've got my 4-inch strips. I'm going to take it and pick it up and bring the ends to a point like that on all 3 of them, like that and like this. And now it's just a matter of folding it into the S. This is another reason that it's good to have the lines, is I know that these S's are just about 2.5 inches big. So when I start folding it, as I'm folding it, I can see the measurement so that I can see that I'm doing it the right amount. And these are not exact. You can see they're all kind of different. But once they're all around the cake, nobody's going to notice that there's slight variations. So I just do that and I slide it up, and I take my next one, make sure I have nice points on my edge, and I'm folding one side and then the other, using my measurements as I'm doing it to make sure it's about the right size. Sliding that one up and doing it again. Like that. And those are my curly cues. Now the longer ones are basically exactly the same thing. I just going to extrude again like this. And what's great about this is you can, if you do one long strip, you can make it can go a good 24 inches long if you fill the whole extruder, which is nice because there's no way you can roll a perfect roll like that that's 24 inches long. So these were actually 6 inches. So on my board, I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my ends and give them a point. And then this one is about 3¼ inches. So I always like to have one next to me so I can be reminded of what I'm doing. And so this one, it looks got a little more curl at the top and the bottom, and a little narrower. And there you have it. There's my curlicue. So I've done a number of those, and we're gonna let these harden and dry so we can attach them to the cake. And we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna show you how to make a cute little black cat.